Hello, everybody. We're live on SEMrush today, and we are doing another part in the affiliate marketing series. And me, Craig Campbell, based in the UK, and this has the things right is Jenny Abu Obaya. Is that right this time?
Yes, that's pretty close. To be fair, it's pretty close.
Or
Abu Obaya.
Yeah. That one. A Geordie living in Egypt who also does a lot of affiliate marketing. But the reason we've got Jenny on today, or I felt that you were a good choice for this today, Jenny, before we allow you to introduce yourself. You have worked in the background for the guys at Authority Hacker. You do done for you affiliate websites, and you've done a lot of content writing, for Authority Hacker, and obviously as a service for many other affiliate marketers. So that is essentially what Jenny does. But for anyone who hasn't seen you before, Jenny, give us a bit more of a background on what you do, how long you've been in the industry, and everything else.
Yeah, well, as Craig said, I'm Jenny Abu Obaya. So I am the co-founder of a company called Clever Touch Marketing and a founder of the Affiliate Marketing Experts. So basically, I used to work a few years ago as a writer. I was writing solely for niche affiliate sites, and I ended up working with the guys over at Authority Hacker. So that was when they were kind of, doing all their testing and putting everything into place. And I was part of the team that was working on one of their sites while they were doing that. And then basically, once they kind of went full force with Authority Hacker, that is when I started my agency, Clever Touch Marketing. So Clever Touch was based around just working initially as a content agency just for niche affiliate sites, and then was slowly expanded over the years, bringing in other single services, basically covering affiliates from A to Z. So that would be, your link building, keyword research, all of this kind of stuff. And then probably the last sort of 6 to 12 months, we started working with clients to build done-for-you affiliate sites and ready-made affiliate sites, which is where we recently launched the Affiliate Marketing Experts, which is kind of still under the same umbrella, but that one is just solely focused on doing done-for-you sites and ready-made affiliate sites rather than the single services. So something that someone can take away, start ready from tomorrow. And I've been doing that for about nearly 6 years now, so quite a little bit of time.
Getting on a bit, but that's always good for this audience. We want people who have experience in affiliate marketing, which is exactly why you're here today. We have a lot of guests. Adam Poland, we have Paul from SEO Video Show, who great guy. John Pedden, Ishka, Richard Sachs, Radamez Ortiz, Sesuman. Hello to all of you guys. So today I'm going to basically be picking Jenny's brain. She has worked in this space for enough time to allow us to know what moves the needle when it comes to affiliate marketing. And I'm going to pick her brains, go through some of the stuff that she does and stuff like that. But if you guys have any questions, also put them in the live chat, and I will put the best questions to Jenny where they're relevant. So Jenny, we'll just start kicking off the conversation now because we're 4 minutes in. Everyone who's coming should be here. But going back to when you started in affiliate marketing, you were obviously, the same as everyone else, skeptical. Does this work? Does it not? What should I do? What shouldn't I do? And obviously, we've done this affiliate marketing show for a number of months now, and we've went into niche selection. We've went into what affiliate marketing is, whether you should do private affiliate or other types of affiliate. But for people out there, they always say what moves the needle the most when it comes to affiliate marketing and everything. What are the most important things that you do when you're building these niche affiliate websites that actually move the needle, because everyone wants to hit the ground running. And of course, if you're doing done for you affiliate websites, why should they use that option? What are you doing that's different than what they could do? So give us an idea of what moves the needle and what you do or what you can advise to get them hitting the ground running. Because I know loads of people here want to get into affiliate, but they just don't know where to start.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I mean, something I talk a lot about when I do webinars and things like this is actually, I find the most important thing is setting a strong foundation, because like you said, what a lot of people tend to do is, you know, they just want to get a site up and start making money. That's the goal. Just get it up, get some ads on, get some content on, whatever. And then what happens is you tend to they get so far and there's a plateau, or the site will get hit by an update or something like this, just because basically the kind of foundation hasn't been laid properly. Where obviously if you're doing it right from the beginning, essentially it's a lot easier to then, you know, manage that and just scale it up and obviously have that continual growth, rather than, you know, kind of skipping certain steps just to get in there and try and get that commission. And then what happens is you either have to go back and fix a lot of things, or go back and kind of re-implement stuff that should have been done at the beginning. Or you'll find things like, for example, even looking at things like silo structure and stuff like this, having to try and restructure your website and all of this stuff just because it hasn't been done in the first place. So that's actually why we got into doing the kind of done for you and ready-made sites, because initially when we're doing a lot of audits, it tended to be the same problem. So we'd always have people come to us who were like, you know, oh, I've had this site for so many years, but I'm only making this much money. Traffic's not growing, blah, blah, blah. And when you audit it, it's just a case of, it sounds daft, but it's, you know, really simple stuff that's just been missed in the beginning and then has just been continued to kind of snowball in terms of it hasn't been fixed. It's just got a bigger and bigger problem. And that's where you see, you know, if it was done right from the beginning, there's so much potential for growth there. So that's actually why we started doing that as a service, because it was clear that, you know, there was a lot of people that were kind of struggling to get that done from the beginning, which is understandable. Obviously, a lot of people learn from a course or whatever, and it's their first site, and they're, you know, testing the water as they go, which is a great thing. I always advise people, you know, you should have a site that you just have just to play with, essentially, just to test things out, see what works. But yeah, for me, that is probably the biggest thing, and it goes across the board really as well. It's not just a case of just with content or just, you know, with with link building or the site structure or anything like this. It's just making sure that kind of, if you lay those foundations properly, and think of it like a business. That's what I tend to talk about a lot, is the fact that a lot of people go into affiliate not considering it the same as you would any other business site, and looking at it that way to make sure those things that essentially are going to earn you money are put in place early on.
So for people, like, obviously doing the basics, and that's you know, fair comment. I 100% agree. When I do audits, people are not doing the basics properly. Yeah. But you know, is this down to people, like you mentioned that they're not treating it like a real business? But if you're starting out in affiliate yourself now, what's your minimum investment? Like, obviously, you've got to buy a done for you website, an H domain, or something. But once you've got that, you know, there's money for content, you know, potentially money for doing outreach or guest posts or whatever you're going to be doing. How much of an investment should a new person looking to get into the affiliate game minimum be expecting to pay to hit the ground running and actually make some money?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give an SEO answer of it depends, but how it depends is, this is one of the things actually that people miss out on. And that goes back to, I know obviously a few weeks ago we were talking about kind of picking a niche and things like this. And this is one of the problems where talking about laying those foundations is actually not thinking about that kind of both a time investment and a financial investment from the get-go. Because obviously when you're selecting a niche, these are things that you can think about in terms of, do you have personal knowledge to be able to write some of the content, or are you going to have a team of writers and editors from the get-go because you've got no experience, and things like this. So obviously, if you can do things yourself, and you've getting kind of your age domain, you've getting a site ready, then you don't have to have a huge investment to kind of start earning that money. But if you are someone who is starting from scratch, has absolutely zero idea what they're doing, you're going to need writers, you're going to need, link builders and everything like this. There's not any part of it you're going to be able to do yourself. I always say to people, you're going to be looking at about 20,000 to get it off the ground, with quality, because that's the important part as well. So getting your site set up, getting your age domain, and then having someone, because I mean, for me, I want to be getting 100,000 words of content on a site as quickly as possible. That's what's going to start moving the needle straight away. So obviously you're going to have to get that content written if you don't have the ability to do that yourself, and then you're going to be looking at building links to that content. You're going to need someone to keep an eye on your SEO if you don't really know what you're doing in there as well. So I think to get it to the point where you're earning, you're kind of getting a return on your investment, let's say, the investment's going to be kind of about 20,000 easy, really. Because I mean, with us being in Egypt, we're substantially cheaper than some of the more, the Western agencies and stuff. So that kind of falls into it as well. But I think on average, probably about 20 grand.
I think for me personally, I think a lot of the failed affiliate things there's just not had enough time or investment put into them. And these are good opportunities for me as well. Like, I like buying a website for 2-3 grand that has maybe got some content on it that I can then go in and add the rest to it. But I think it is a lot of cases just down to severe lack of investment or maybe unrealistic expectation. People think they should maybe put up 10,000 words of content and the money should start rolling in. That's not the case. So I think you make a very good point. Try and slam on 100,000 words on there. Whether you do it yourself or whether you pay someone to do that is vital. But going back to something you said earlier, John Pedden has asked, you were referring to doing the right things for a website and building the right foundations. He's just looking for you to elaborate on what that is. What is the right things in a bit more detail?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's what I like to call it is the kind of general housekeeping. So it's making sure that, especially in terms of your on-page SEO, is that everything is done, even the littlest things, because it's one of those things where, depending on which SEO you speak to, there'll be, some things that they say, oh, that's not really important, or, that's not a big deal and stuff like this. Where to me, the market these days, so many people are trying to get into affiliate marketing, especially, since the pandemic. It's a great option for people who are stuck at home and, need some kind of income. But that makes the market become a lot more saturated. So you've got to look at it is, considering, even something as small as, is adding alt text to your image is going to make a difference? Some people will tell you no, but it's one of those things where if you've started a site and somebody else has started a site, same niche, same age of domain, what have you, it's one of those things of everything that you can do to get that little advantage, making sure everything is spot on is the best way to lay that foundation. Another thing is also not to consider SEO, because that's what we see certainly a lot is people coming from courses. As I said, we've worked with Authority Hacker before, so we do get a lot of people coming to us who've done the Authority Hacker course, and obviously that kind of focus is all on the SEO side, and they don't consider like CRO, UX, and that really lets a lot of people down very early on. So making sure that actually your website is appealing and ready to use by actual users is probably one of the more important things before you're looking to even kind of index your site, because there's no point in bringing traffic to your site if that traffic doesn't convert. So making sure that, you know, the site design is user friendly, it's meeting your core web vitals, you've got your call to actions in there where you need them, and all of this, getting your content on, making sure the on page is spot on. And then now we're looking to bring traffic, we're looking to build links, and just basically a lot of the time is the order and how you do things, because everybody's going to do the same things at some point or another. But for us, it's a very, you know, step-by-step process.
I think one thing you said there, I was actually a friend over today, and it was a female that I gave training to last January. She built an affiliate website. She was slammed when it came to the December update, and she's now starting to recover from that. But she was talking today, and we were just talking about what she'd done to try and recover. And she said something along the lines of, we've tweaked this, we've done that, made the navigation proper. It now looks like a real website. And I'm like, you know, what was it before then? Like, you know, and she's like, yeah, it was just garbage. You know, there wasn't enough, you know, basic things in there to make it convert. You know, it just was a pile of garbage, really.
And you'll find a lot of them are. That's the thing you find. That's one of the main things we find when we audit sites. A lot of the time, I spend time talking about, actually, it's not really a SEO, it's not really a content, but like, with all due respect, look at your site. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and I think people need to get it into their head as well, that because we're all SEOs, it's one level or another, we all think as SEOs. And actually what you need to think about is Joe Blogs, who's going to be using your website, and they don't know that, you know, you're not in the same you know, you're not working in the same kind of area as, say, Apple, for example. Like if you're doing a affiliate site on smartwatches, to the average Joe who's coming to your website, your competition, whether it is or not, is going to be Apple, Fitbit, people like that. So if you look at their website and what kind of level of professionalism in terms of the design there is, your website has to replicate that, because that's what someone sees as a level of trust. If you're not a known name, you're not a brand, then why should they listen to what you're saying if your website just looks like a spammy news site with ads everywhere and, you know, Latin text still written in the about section and stuff like this? And this is the kind of things that we see all the time, where when you build the site with kind of UX and CRO in mind, they tend to do a lot better, a lot faster. You really tend to skip that whole, like, you know, Google Sandbox and stuff like this. And it just develops trust as well. It helps with conversions, because that's what someone's got as the kind of bar of judgment as to, you know, whether this is a trusted branded website. If I go on a website and I've never heard of it, but it looks just as good as, you know, something like an Apple website, then you're going to be like, oh, well, you know, I must just have never have heard of it. It's one of those things, you know, where when you go and it's spammy as anything, you're just like, no, thanks, I'll pass.
I've got a quick question to dig into. You mentioned, obviously, spammy websites with ads. Now, it's an interesting comment that you make there. And I'll give you the context behind me asking you this. So that female friend that I was telling you about, who was hit by that December update, she had an affiliate website, still has it, and it was performing really well. She then decided to add AdSense to it. Now, personally, I looked at it and I thought, that looks terrible. It slowed the website down. It looks garbage. And I'm not a fan of, listen, I totally 100% get that you want to use maybe more than one monetization model and squeeze as much as you can on the website. But what are your thoughts on adding AdSense to like an Amazon affiliate website or whatever? You think that's a good thing? Does it give trust? You know, you spoke about trust there and you mentioned ads. So like, I would always say to someone, because I said to this woman, I don't want to name her because it's not fair to do that. But she's like, nah, man, the AdSense is making decent money. You know, it's pulling in like, $1.5K a month or whatever it was. And I'm like, really? But it looks so bad. So what's your advice, you know, for the websites that you What's your advice on the AdSense thing?
I mean, we have a lot of, I mean, I've got nothing against using display ads whatsoever. And we have a lot of clients that do make a lot of money from their display ads, some of which make more money from their display ads than they do from like Amazon and stuff like this. And we'll have clients that we'll manage portfolios for, where we've got some where the niches where essentially they're just basically going to be info content that they're going to monetize with ads. But I think there just has to be a happy medium. And also what I find is a lot of people use kind of these automated ad systems where they place the ads. And I think you've got to keep a hold of that control of your site a little bit and kind of realize, like, is that what I want my website to look like? Because you will get a few of the different ad networks. And I mean, when I'm talking about spammy, I'm not talking about, you know, maybe in your sidebar, you've got an ad down there, a display ad that's, you know, even some people have like the Amazon ones where it's displaying, you know, relevant products or whatever. Maybe one is like a call to action midway through your content, something like this, where it looks like it's natural. The same as you would really with your links. If you are doing, you know, putting internal links in and things like this, you're going to do it in a natural way. You're not just going to slap them all over the place, where this is what you tend to get is you'll get these ones. I remember I audited one site. I'll not say who it was, but like I audited one site and I could literally only read one line of text at a time because there was a display ad straight at the top under the header, display ad straight above the footer, display ad in the sidebar like this. So you're literally getting text, rolling text, one line at a time as you're scrolling. All three ads are showing exactly the same ad. Well, I mean, how long is somebody going to sit? You're not going to read a full article like that in this tiny little box. Do you know what I mean? So you're never going to get that conversion. And I mean, if that's your main monetization method and you think it's working for you, but I would say to, you know, maybe split test that and have a look, because really, how far is that going to go as well? You've got to think about, I mean, I can understand if it's a new site and someone being like, oh, I'm making $1,000 a month on them ads, like, but you're probably never going to get further than that, because everyone's going to have that same initial reaction when they hit the website, you know. So it's one of those things where I think there has to be a happy medium. It's not that you shouldn't monetize with ads, although I do think it detracts a little bit from the brandability. I feel like if you want to be, you know, if you want to go the route of, I've got a great age domain that's really brandable and I can really make, you know, like a kind of household name of this website be the next Healthline or something like this, then I think having ads kind of takes away from that a little bit. So there definitely has to be a happy medium, but I think it's what you have to consider is it is your site as well. So weigh the options, see what you're comfortable with, and think of it like a user as well. Do you know what I mean? Think of it, if I went onto a website and it looked like this, if I'm looking for, I don't know, if I'm looking for a cookie recipe and I've got to read one line at a time in the middle of these ads, like, am I even going to get down to the recipe? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I've got nothing against them, but I think you have to have a little bit more control on how they're used, because I think people feel like they're making the money, but they don't realize how much potential they could have if they just scaled back a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. Going to go to a couple of quick questions we've got in the chat. One is from Steve Beezer. Is the market for affiliate growing, or has it matured? So is the market for affiliate, is it growing or has it matured? Are there channels or categories that are still in early stages of growth? So what's your opinion? Is affiliate still growing, or has it matured? You know, what is your personal opinion on that? Personally, I still don't think that many people are doing amazing affiliate. I know there's very, very successful affiliates that we all know, you know, throughout the industry. But is everyone really doing that well with affiliate? I would say a lot of people are still very new to it. There's still a lot of room for growth. Would you agree?
I think this, I mean, really, I think at the end of the day, the internet's a pretty big place and there's still a lot of room to get your own slice of pie. Do you know what I mean? And it also depends on, you know, how far you want to take an affiliate site, because it's one of those things where really like success is down to the person itself, because you know maybe you want to be something like the next Healthline or whatever like this and have this massive site that everybody knows, but actually success for you could just be making, you know, 30 grand a month or something like this to be able to support your family and all of this kind of thing without being a huge household name or being the next wire cutter. So there's definitely space, and really, I mean, there's niches for everything. The niches are never going to end. You know what I mean? You can literally find a niche for anything you can possibly think of. So it's one of those things where overall, like, yes, there's a lot of affiliate sites, but when you think about, like you say, how many of them are actually at that kind of top level? And, you know, is your goal to be at that top level, or are you happy just being at a level where, you know, you make money to support your lifestyle without having to, you know, go to the 9 to 5, if you like, and stuff like this? That on that side, and also looking at your niche selection, that's where your niche selection comes in as well, is like, you know, thinking about things that are a little bit outside of the box and that are maybe a little bit more untapped.
So Steve also asked there, are there any other channels or categories that are still in early stages of growth? Again, to answer that, Steve, buying and selling affiliate websites, just buying, flipping them on.
Yeah.
I don't see that many people doing it. There's some great people doing great successful stuff with that, but I think that's another niche you can look at. Well, it's still kind of affiliate marketing, but buying and flipping a website, once you get the processes and systems and staff and all that in place, then it really is just a investment money-wise. You know, like you said earlier, spend 20 grand on that website, get it making money, and flip it for 50, double your money, whatever. So I think that's something you can also look at, Steve. Obviously, I don't know Steve personally, don't know your background, but that is something that a lot of people should be, you know, invest in digital assets. Don't just invest in real estate. It doesn't matter whether you're buying a SaaS tool, an affiliate website, whatever. You can grow and scale that business and then flip it on for money very, very quickly. So is there any other kind of channels that you see early stages of growth doing in this digital marketing world?
No, I tend to agree with what you've said there. To be honest, I don't think there's that many people look at the getting into affiliate in terms of, I just want to build this up for a year and then flip it on or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And realistically, like when we're doing the ready-made sites, that's kind of what the idea behind it is that you can pick up a site that someone's done for you, that you know everything is spot on, it's got some content on there, you're going to pick it up cheap, and then, you know, you're going to invest a little bit of money, and it's, you know, it's going to be ranking straight away, and you can get that flipped on for as soon as that's when you've got to think about it in the sense of like the ready-made sites that we do, like we nurture them, we do them on age domains and stuff like this, right? And we're pricing them based on the cost of how much it would cost if we were doing it as a done for you. So you're paying for the cost of the build, the cost of the content being put on there, any link building that's being done, but then you get it as a little bit of a discount because essentially you're getting a package. But what you have to think of, as soon as you start making commissions on that, if you can get that website up to £1,000 a month, for example, which isn't really going to be that hard when you're taking a website that's already, you know, say like a D or 4 or 5 or whatever, then as soon as you're getting to that point, then you can look at kind of flipping it on at a 32 times multiplier. Do you know what I mean? So it's, to me, that's a business model in itself. And also, I mean, I don't know about other people, but I'm not necessarily a big gambler. So I would rather do that than hold on to something and, you know, 3 years down the line, you're going to get hit by a Google update or whatever. Like, people do it all the time with real estate, and you haven't really got, at least with real estate, you've got the restrictions, you've got to have a license and stuff like this to do this, where really, you know, this is something that anyone can get into quite easily until you get to the point maybe where you've got more experience as well. I think it's a great kind of untapped area for the people who do have less experience, who are coming from courses and stuff like this, because every site that you're picking up and passing on, you're learning something new. And then it's going to be a case of you're going to have one that is going to, maybe it's just going to be just the right niche, or, it's kind of got the high ticket items or whatever. And that's going to be the one you hold on to, So it's definitely something that I think a lot of people go into the sites thinking, they think they're going to be long-term, but they don't think about it long-term when they're building it, which is where the problems come in. But they're thinking this is going to be their site, this is going to make them all their money, this is going to get them their retirement, where actually, picking up a site like the ones we do and then building that over, say, 12 months maximum and then passing it on, you're going to have this recurring cycle, do you know what I mean? Where it's actually going to have a lot less there's a lot less risk in terms of, holding on to it longer and things changing with algorithms and stuff like this. So you're probably going to get a lot more return on investment in long run if you're not looking to be the next big household name affiliate site. If you're just looking to be mid-level, then you're probably going to get a lot more return on investment doing it kind of on a cycle of buying it, building it, flipping it over, And there's not that many people that I know of that do that all the time.
No, I think that's the perfect business model for me. And obviously getting people to spend, say, 100k on a website, fairly easy. It's when you start trying to sell websites for millions of pounds, it's a much harder sale. There's legal teams involved and lawyers and all big crazy other things. But I think if you buy and you double, treble, quadruple, 5 times your money and do that, rinse and repeat at scale, then again you've got a perfect business model there. That's the exact same way that guys are buying properties, tarting them up, flipping them on, and move on to the next one, or even do 2 or 3 at the same time, whatever.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when we look at the ones we're doing, ours go from, anything from $800 to maximum the ones that we've held on to for, like, say, 2 years. You're talking about 6,000. So, you can pick up a website that's already done for you. It's got content on there, had some links built for less than $1,000. How much is it going to cost you to put, say, 100k on there, maybe $5,000, and then if in return, even if you're flipping that on for 30, that's quite a return on investment from that little initial price. Do you know what I mean? And it's also getting your foot in the door if you're new. It's getting your foot in the door in the sense of you're not making the mistakes that a lot of people do building it for themselves, and you're getting that return on investment. Get your confidence up, know what you're doing a little bit more until you can start building bigger ones that are going to be the next big thing.
Exactly. But next question, it's not kind of a question, it's kind of a request, and you might already have this. It's from John Pedden. He's saying, he's not sounding naive, but is there a user checklist for optimizing your websites maybe? You have like a checklist of, obviously old is what you're looking for, but do you have a checklist? Or if you don't, you should probably get one and give it to people. It might make it's a good.
No, we do. We give them out free to our clients. Yeah, we give. We're one of the few people that actually give a lot of free resources. So when any client signs up with us, be it for, it doesn't matter what service it is, they've all got access to all of the resources, and we give like a basic SEO checklist for a new site. And we also give some content resources. So we actually give like a guide on how to put guidelines together. So if you're getting if you're trying to find a writer on Upwork or whatever, you've got like a kind of skeleton set of guidelines that you can tweak. And we also give examples and explanations of all the different types of content. So like your best X for Y articles, your versus articles, and we'll give templates for those as well to all the clients. So we do that as an agency as standard with our clients anyway. Anyone who, picks up anything from us gets access to those. And we're building a course at the minute as well, which is going to be a free course on affiliate marketing, which Craig is going to help out with because I've twisted his arm. So yeah. So that's going to be coming out next month. So we're going to be doing that as well to basically give those kind of initial step-by-step areas to get people building sites. But yes, that is something that certainly we do. I'm sure other people probably do as well. But yes, we definitely do it.
yeah, check out that course that's coming out next month. It's always good. I think obviously what you're doing is pretty decent of you and giving out more free content, but also utilising my experience or whatever to for a section of it or whatever. So I think it's a great thing to do. So do check it out, guys. Keep an eye on Jenny. But going on to another one from Kurt Wolf. Traditionally, you need a ton of traffic for Google AdSense to make you any money. Has this changed? Because yes, it's a major trade-off in terms of how your site looks and the UX. So has that changed at all? And also, what he's also saying is the terrible user experience that you're describing about sites with Google Ads getting in the way of text, I will imagine will negatively affect SEO. So if people are bouncing off, not clicking through, obviously you're not dropping your cookie, you're not doing anything at that point. And obviously that page then looks bad. The user engagement signals to the website is going to have a negative impact on your SEO. So, is that a massive trade-off? Is that a massive gamble, if you like, having AdSense rather than not? Do you see that as like,
I mean, me personally, because I think he's right in what you're saying, and I mean, most people really don't want to use, from what I know anyway, in my experience, most people wouldn't really want to use Google AdSense anyway. You want to be looking at a point where you're getting other ones like Kinstar and all this kind of stuff, and doing that kind of thing, which I think most of those, most of the display ads, I think it's something like minimum of kind of 10,000 a month traffic or something, and or some of them are like 100,000 impressions a month. So you're not talking about brand new sites at that point. So really, to me, if you want to kind of diversify your monetization, I wouldn't even be looking to put ads onto a site until I kind of already had that trust and traffic at least. But I think that's where a lot of people let themselves down, because they're kind of like, right, let's get some ads on, and it's still quite a new site, and really you're not going to be making a lot of money from it, and it's negatively impacting all areas of your site, as you say. So for me, there's nothing really wrong with ads, but I personally would leave it until I was at a point where you were getting that kind of consistent traffic anyway, and then using that as a kind of add-on to your existing monetization. Maybe if that's a point where you're looking at, for example, if you were building an Amazon affiliate site and you got to a certain amount of traffic where you're like, right now I've got enough behind us to kind of change to a different affiliate program. I can convince them to give us a little bit extra commission and stuff like this. Maybe at that point you'd be looking at kind of re-looking at how you're doing your monetization and possibly including your display ads then, which I think would be a better route, because there's no point really, like you're saying, for the kind of minimal amount you're going to get for minimal traffic, in destroying the way your site looks really, and just building up that trust factor. Because I mean, you've got to look like any other business. It's still kind of, your repeat business is always going to be a major factor. So if you get people that like your site, that meets their search intent, and they really like the tone of your content and what it is that you're delivering, they're more likely to come back to your website. And so if you're building repeat traffic as well as bringing in new traffic, then that's what you want to be doing. So better, especially initially, to do everything you can to think about user first, because at the end of the day, Google likes websites that people like as well. You've got to think of it this way too. So like you want to be getting the people to your website and want them to come back and be sharing it, bringing other people. This is like any other business.
That makes sense. Now, Kate, in the background of SEMrush, has just asked in a private chat, is there a link to this list of best SEO on-page practices? Because a lot of people are saying would love to have that list. Do you have a link? She has given a link to clevertouchmarketing.com, but is there an actual list that she can share with the audience?
Give us a second and I'll
or
find
a
it.
link, sorry, or a list, link, whatever, same thing. So if we can get that link for the audience, because a few people,
yeah, I think if they go over to the website, clevertouchmarketing.com, there's actually like a resources section, and you can go down and you can sign up, and basically just take you to a page where you can download all of this kind of stuff. So yeah, if you head over to there, you get them free from our website as well. We've got we're quite happy to give stuff away if it helps you to get moving.
All you can get from her.
Yeah,
Jordan didn't normally give anything away for free. So, you're normally the ones with freebies.
We're not quite as tight as the Scots, so you're all right. But yeah,
but nah, grab it, guys. John Pedden, this question this came through 5 minutes ago, but he's saying, is there a CRM involved? I'm not sure what that refers to.
I don't know what we're talking about.
John, can you just elaborate on that? We'll try and answer it for you, please. I forgot as well what we were.
I'm useless. I can't remember what I was talking about 10 seconds ago, me. So.
And so anyway, we'll go on until other guys. Also, put more questions in the chat if you want to ask Jenny more questions. I'll get them to her. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for stuff to come through, I want to ask you about, obviously you've talked about doing the basics right website, user experience, 100,000 words of content. So I'm the guy that's just followed everything you've just said. I've done all of that. What else is moving the needle at that point? Where should I be looking next?
Well, for me, when we're talking about your 100,000 words of content, one thing that's really important before you get there, which I should say is actually, something that I find a lot of people don't do properly, which is that kind of keyword research and working out your silo structure. So I find that a lot of people actually find it hard to kind of understand, if they're new to affiliate marketing anyway, find it hard to kind of get to grips with what the silo structure and stuff should be. So, that's really important. First of all, is that you're looking long term. So what I like to do when I'm building a site is part of the kind of niche research and doing the keyword research is I'm not just doing keyword research for, say, 20,000 words or even that 100,000 words that I'm going to put on first. I'm looking at doing keyword research that could potentially last me 5 years if I wanted to, because I want to see that there's going to be enough kind of keywords to keep the monetization going. Do you know what I mean? If you find that you've got 100 keywords on a website and then now you've got no other keywords that you can, build your kind of money pages for, that's no point. So obviously doing it that way and working properly on your silo structure. So I also like to build, I'll build like hub pages and, build out the kind of support and content from there on the different topics. And then obviously then we're moving into our link building. We want to be building links to those money pages. We want to be building links to the supporting pages and doing everything we can in terms of link building. I'm not.
Stop there. I'm going to change the question halfway through. Okay. Link building. This is where people are going to be like, oh, well, tell me more. Right. So when you've got affiliate website, you've done all this stuff, you come to your link building. Should people be building links to the homepage? Should they be building them to those inner pages? Answer that, because that's a question we get all the time as SEO. So just want to cover that off for the audience.
Well, personally, what I like to do, because you'll get a lot of different answers to that, and again, going back to kind of thinking about it like a business, is I like to do basically while I'm building the site and I'm kind of, getting started with that content, I like to do a lot of foundational linking. So we do a media outreach service, which is like includes HARO, and it also, works with journalists one-on-one, where we're building links that way, and usually they're to the homepage because they're going to be establishing my persona on the website as an expert in the niche. And I'm going to do anything like I would do in any other business in terms of like citations and building out, foundation links like Web 2.0s and all of that. I usually do that while I'm actually building up that 100k of content. So just kind of testing the waters a little bit. I mean, I'm not talking about spamming it, but like getting that foundation there. And then once obviously I've got me kind of hub pages and stuff on, I'm going to start building them to the hub pages, and then I'm going to start building them to the supporting content, and rinse and repeat. So I'm going to use probably everybody will tell you different things. Where I think with affiliate, the way that a lot of people fall down is they don't use a little bit of everything, which to me gives mixed signals to Google, because at the end of the day, yes, this is still a business. You're still supposed to be portraying this as a business. Do you know what I mean? If I'm putting a persona on, especially, I'm not using myself, for example, if I'm using this fake persona, I need to be building out their social media. I need to be putting on social signals. I need to be setting up different profiles in this person's name, just like I would if I was starting my own dance school, for example, and I just set up a website for that. I'm going to be all the different directories, I'm going to be putting it in. It's a natural business practice. Do you know what I mean? So doing all of that kind of stuff, and they're the ones that usually go to, because obviously you want to spread it out and you want to spread your link juice out. So usually your foundation links, your stuff like your horo and your media is more what's going to go to the homepage, because that's that's pretty much the only option you've got with those links anyway. And then what we tend to do is your guest posts and all of this kind of stuff is going to go to your money pages and then distribute that. And I think what's always talking about links is not just about your backlinks either. You've really got to work on your internal linking when you're doing this content as well, because that's something else that a lot of people fall down with. So it's kind of trying to balance a sense of getting the internal links and the external links working, so that you're growing as you go. And that's one of those things of setting strong foundations. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. Also, we have another fellow Scot in here, Andrew Downey, here for the first time. Always giving the Scottish people a shout out, Andrew. There's not enough of them on here. Chase Rayner's there as well. But going back to John Pedden, who was asking about, is there a CRM involved? He's obviously explained what a CRM is, which we already knew. But he's asking if a CRM that applies to this content in SEO. I'm guessing that you're WordPress in most cases, as many other affiliates are. Would that be right?
Yeah, I mean most of ours are working with WordPress, so it's pretty much the only one that we use for most of our clients, and the ones that we build as well, because I think because we're working with a lot of the people we work with are new affiliates as well. It's just the easiest option, to be honest. It's keeping things simple for everyone all around.
I think I don't know what the percentages would be, but probably 70 or 80% of people are probably using WordPress. So yeah. I think for me, it's my personal preference as well. As a CRM, there is a bunch of others out there, but WordPress is always probably a good, solid foundation to work from, John. John is also asking, where do we learn the content of linking, the descriptors and applications? Do you have any information like that on your website for free?
Probably somewhere in the blog, I would imagine it'll be covered somewhere. But I've got quite on the new site, on the Affiliate Marketing Experts, we've got quite a lot of content where we're going into the best affiliate programs and all of this kind of stuff. So we do have stuff in there on a general level, obviously. But obviously, if it was more if it's sort of more, you want something that's more for you, would you do like site assessments and all of this kind of stuff, where you can come and have your site assessed, and I'll give you feedback on where it's lacking, what should be done, and what you need to do, and things like that. And they're super cheap. We do them for people if they want to check out their competitors' website and see what they're doing better and stuff like this. Just give us a website and we'll tell you what's good and what's bad.
Maybe an offer you can't refuse, but I think, John, go on the website, but also, don't be scared to Google things. Like if it's internal linking, for example, just Google internal linking guide, and there will be a video or something out there for pretty much everything, not just for Jenny, for the whole SEO community. There's more than myself or Jenny in the digital marketing world, and there's so many people sharing a lot of good information. So maybe Jenny missed out on the internal linking guide on our website. Someone else will have it. So, just have a look around and see what's there. But of course, do check Jenny's website first and foremost, because why not? But hopefully that helps. But, going back to me asking the questions again, we've spoken about link building and all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to go back to content, because obviously you mentioned the 100,000 words, being on the website originally. One of the most common things I hear people asking me when they get the opportunity to ask me affiliate marketing question is, how much content should I be adding on a month-to-month basis thereafter? So you got your 100,000 words down. How much is too much on a month-to-month basis? What does I forget about your done for you websites and everything for a minute, and it's your money on the table. It's your new affiliate project and in the niche that you want to go after, and you've paid someone to do 100,000 words. From there, what does in terms of volume, what are you adding to try and get to that next level? Just so that we've got a rough figure on our head, because people, the answer is going to be, it depends on your budget. You could add 2, you could add 10, but what are you actually doing to get growth? Because there's no point in adding 2 and you've only got 24 articles being added a year. How much growth are you going to get out of that? You're going to get some, but what are you doing? How aggressively are you doing it?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if it fits in somebody's budget, my ideal, based on all of the sites that I've worked on, is at least 10,000 words a week is what we would normally do. So we used to do, when we were just content, that was all we had. We'd have our clients on their rolling, and it was a minimum of 10,000 words. That's what you had to, if that's what you were going to work with us, that's what you had to subscribe to. And it was a case of, it's not me pulling in money. It's the fact that I know that anything less, it's not really going to do great things for your website, and I don't want that to reflect on me. I don't want it to be, oh, I got content from them and it did nothing from your website. Well, yeah, you got 1,000 words once 6 months ago. So do you know what I mean? So when we're looking at who's going to be the ideal client, that's the kind of way we look at it. And through the sites that we've worked with, I mean, I've worked on, I can't even count the amount of sites I've worked on now, but I mean, we've got clients who've got maybe 6 or 7 in a portfolio that we manage for them. So within our management, there's always a minimum of at least 5 to 10,000 words a week worth of content. That's the minimum on the full site management service that we do, because like I say, it's knowing that's what's going to keep the needle moving, essentially, and not have it just start to drop off and plateau and stuff like this. So to make sure, not only because I want to make sure obviously the clients get the best that they can get, because that's my job, that's what I'm here to do, but again, if I know in my head that what you're telling me, I only want 1,000 words a week, if I know that's going to have a negative effect or it's not going to do anything, the likelihood is you're going to come back and complain to me as a client. So to avoid that, I'm just going to tell you what it is. So definitely having regular content, just all the time. I mean, I hear, you're going to get other people to say, oh, you can do it in sprints and stuff like this. And like, yeah, you can if you want. But from my experience, we've had sites where we've done it in sprints and stuff like that. And the ones where we have always added consistent content get the most growth. And that, because, and really, if you want to grow, why wouldn't you also? Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to keep up to date with everything you do, and things are changing all the time. So you've got to keep that momentum going, even if that's a case of auditing old content and, stuff that hasn't really, hit the spot, going through that same way. You can re-optimize that even to kind of keep that content moving along,
So here, Kurt Wolf has basically said 10,000 words is a lot. They need to be quality words, though, right? And not just babble. How do you do quality? And is Google getting smarter at defining quality too?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, I would have thought that by just a standard anything anyway, because I mean nothing we would do would be anything less than quality. So yeah, it would have to be quality, obviously. But I mean, but 10,000 words can go quite a long way. So it depends on what niche and stuff you're doing, obviously. But we look to utilize it really. I don't really like naked websites, like especially when they're newer. Even 100,000 words, if you've got a very broad niche, then that's not going to cover a lot of topics, really, unless you're doing something where like you're a tiny little niche. It's not really going to cover a lot. So if you're doing something like an automotive website, for example, where in the end your site structure, you're going to be looking at having, say, cars and lorries and all of this kind of stuff, and then under there you're going to have maintenance and tires and blah blah blah. That 10,000 words a week, I mean, how quickly are you going to fill out that site at anything less than that, really? So it does depend on your site, of course, and it depends on your niche, because if you've got a site dedicated to pillowcases or something, it's probably not going to take that much content to kind of fill it out. But if you're got some kind of broad range, then really, especially to keep people coming back and keep getting those keywords, new traffic, do you know what I mean? It's just going to drop off if you're not putting enough content on there. And plus, like you say, it'll take it till, I don't know, 10 years to get a silo filled out. So
John Pedden is asking, does the 10K words a week affect speed regulations? Is that going to impact your site speed?
Not if you're managing your site speed properly, I wouldn't think so. But that's
it comes down to managing your business properly and putting it on a proper server. If you're going to pay £20 a year for hosting on some crappy shared hosting and load up tons of content, tons of images, it is going to run slowly. That's the way it goes. But obviously there's ways to work around that, get a better server, use.
You've got to make sure you're optimizing everything properly. That's where your SEO comes into play, isn't it? That's your optimization. So I mean, and this is where, again, as it being a business, you have to constantly be reevaluating everything. So you might start off with a little SiteGround server that can handle your little site as it gets going with no bother, but then maybe you're gonna have to upgrade that. You're gonna have to change to something else as you're building out that content, and also making sure that you're optimizing all of your images. You're using a CDN and stuff like this. So it's if you're managing it properly, then no, it shouldn't. But you should be keeping an eye on that anyway, really, to be honest, with everything you're doing. Every time you're uploading content, you should be checking that, you're following your basic practices with everything new that you're putting on. It's not a case of doing SEO once and then throwing stuff on and never doing it again. So it should be a rinse and repeat kind of cycle.
To be honest, I would think if you're going to think that by adding value to your website is going to slow it down and negatively impact you, you do need to take a look at your overall thought process with SEO. You've got to get more content on there and don't worry about speed. You've just got to keep the bull by the horns. And of course, if it loads slowly, upgrade server, whatever. I think trying to find ways out of not adding 10,000 content. And I'm not suggesting that's what you're doing, John. I know you're only asked the question, but don't think about things like that, because it can come across as I'm trying to find out ways of not adding that 10K worth of content that might slow my speed down. And that's obviously not what you want to do. Content is king. They've said it for many years. Slam as much of that on there as you possibly can. And if it costs you more money to host it, so be it. Hopefully, if you're doing that, the volume that you may think would slow your website down, you should be making enough money if you're adding that volume to be able to afford a dedicated server or whatever it might be. So try and get into that a positive mindset. Don't worry about will it impact my speed, just get it done. Kurt Wolf is also saying, think about how many recipe sites are out there that babble on before getting before getting to the reason people clicked on the post, the recipe, those words get in the way. Obviously, what's your thoughts on that quickly? Because we've only got a minute left, Jenny, but what's your thoughts on that?
I do agree, but in a sense that's something actually I talk about in some of the webinars I do about content is that you have to make your content, you have to write your content for users, not spiders. We're writing it for people, we're not writing it for search engines. So like you have to, things like that, even your reviews, your recipes, anything like this, you should have an option at the very beginning of your content that allows someone to skip down to the point that they've come to that website for, because I totally agree, there's nothing worse than if I'm standing covered in flour looking for a recipe, scrolling through some blogger's life story of how, you know, she had some kind of love meet pray in expedition and found this recipe. I just want the recipe. So even with reviews, when we ever do reviews, we'll have like review boxes at the top. Straight away we'll be telling you what the top products are, and we'll have a skip to review button straight down. Same with the recipes, jump down to the recipe, because this is what people also, you've got to meet the search intent. That's the point of your content, meeting the search intent of the user. It has to be user first.
And one last thing I want to cover, John Pedden is saying, will most people give that much attention to 10,000 words? Just to be clear here, John, we're not talking about one 10,000 word article.
No.
That 10,000 word could be 10 1,000 word articles that are going to target a whole bunch of keywords, and in turn will get you ranking for 10 more things, which is going to bring more people in. It's not whether the people are interested in the words or not is irrelevant. The grand scheme of things, as long as they click on one of your links and you drop that Amazon cookie, your job's done.
Yeah.
So
it's using that 10K. It's using that 10K the right way as well. So, rather than thinking about it just as 10K, think about how you would be using that. So, for example, if you've got like, say you're building a website on cats, for example, and one of your silos, one of your top level categories is going to be nutrition, then you can do like a big major article that's going to be a hub page on nutrition. It's going to be why it's important, blah, 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 all the rest of it. And then what you can do with that 10K content is you might build 10 or even 11 700 word articles. Can cats eat X? Can cats eat Y? Can cats eat? Do you know what I mean? All of these questions that you can get from like people also asking Google, filling these silos up in that way, they're all going to link back to that main hub page, and then you're filling that content out, and people are going to pay attention to it, because obviously the people who want to land on that page, who want to know about what they can feed their cat in terms of human food or whatever, then they're going to continue through that. That's also going to help with your bounce rate and stuff like this, because you're building content that is relevant, that people want to read for the user, the people who are coming to your site, and you're also showing them that you're an authority, you're the site that they need to come back to because this is a topic of their interest. And that's what's going to bring that repeat business as well, because the content is for the people. If you're going to become any kind of authority, even look at influencers, and I mean, look at Craig. Like, Craig's got a great following and stuff like this around SEO. If he didn't put out continuous content, people would lose interest. If I come back to your website and there's no new articles, or there's one once a month or whatever, it's not really exciting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hope that was a question.
John has just thanked you very much for the information. He's found it very useful. So hopefully other people have found the same. Obviously, guys, go and check out Jenny at clevertouchmarketing.com. But that is us pretty much out of time for today, Jenny. Clevertouchmarketing.com's your business website. Is people will be able to find out about this course that you're releasing on that website?
We've got clevertouchmarketing.com is basically the single service website. So that's your content and link building and all of that. We've got the affiliate marketing experts, which is your done for you and ready made sites. If you're looking to just pick up a site and get going, that's that one. And we've also got serphack.com is the new course that's coming out. It's coming out next month, but we've already got the kind of landing page on there, and you can sign up so that you'll be the first to know when the course is launched. And we've got some quite exciting stuff. So Craig's going to be joining us, and we've got the guys over at Sightbulb are going to do a presentation, and yeah, a lot of really, really good, well-known and upcoming SEOs are going to be part of it as well.
Interesting. But on that note, guys, also do check out Sam Rush's future webinars. There's going to be more from me on the affiliate marketing series, but there's a whole bunch of webinars there for you to learn different things about SEO. So make sure you do keep up to date with all the webinars. And thank you, everyone, for your time watching today. We appreciate it. And thank you, Jenny, for giving us all those words of wisdom. So
no problem. Thank you.
See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.